You're watching the History Fella channel. In this video we're looking at John Kingfisher. John Kingfisher was one of those lawmen that rode on both sides of the law. Born in Texas, Fisher was a bright lad who soon found himself mixing in the wrong company. He had begun by buying wild horses which he tamed and sold at a profit. But then a number of stolen horses came his way, and that's when his troubled career started. He was sentenced to 2 years in the state penitentiary, but served just the one because of his age. He moved to the southern tip of Texas on his release, where he obtained work breaking horses. This is where he learned to shoot and handle a variety of other weapons. He became a very flamboyant character, wearing a sombrero festooned with gold braid, silk shirts, chaps made from the skin of a Bengal tiger, and a pair of silver-plated pistols with ivory grips, carried in a silver-mounted holster. A pair of silver spurs finished the outfit off. He joined a band of Mexican rustlers, but ended up shooting 3 of them after a disagreement over money. Slowly but surely, his charismatic presence and ruthlessness helped him take over the gang, and he also organised 2 other gangs. These gangs operated either side of the border, and at one time over 100 men were working for him. John Kingfisher bought a large ranch near Eagle Pass, Maverick County, Texas, and used the ranch as his headquarters for operating his gangs. He organised deals with other Mexican bandits who bought him stolen Mexican cattle in exchange for stolen Texas cattle. Fisher had earned himself a reputation as a gunfighter, and it is known that he killed at least 7 men in minor disagreements. He was charged with murder on a number of occasions, but when brought to trial, was never convicted. In 1882 he became deputy sheriff at Uvalde County, Texas, and the following year was acting sheriff. While sheriff, he investigated the stagecoach robbery and trailed the 2 men concerned, Jim and Tom Hanahan, to their nearby Leakey, Texas ranch. When he challenged them, they started firing at him, and Tom Hanahan was killed. His brother surrendered himself, and the robbery proceeds. John Kingfisher, despite being a rather suspect character, showed that he took his position seriously. While in Austin on business in 1884, he met an old friend and fellow gunfighter and former marshal in Ben Thompson. They had both been drinking heavily when they boarded the train to San Antonio. Unknown to John Kingfisher, the last place Ben Thompson needed to go was San Antonio, because of a long-standing feud that existed between him and Jack Harris and Joe Foster, who owned a gambling hall and vaudeville theatre in the city. The 2 men went to the theatre on arrival in the city, and Thompson demanded to see Joe Foster, saying he wanted to put an end to their feud between them. The 2 men were upstairs in the balcony where Foster and Harris were waiting. Together with 2 other men, Foster refused to talk to Thompson, when suddenly the 2 men beside Foster and Harris stepped back. Realizing that something was going to happen, both Ben Thompson and John Kingfisher went for their guns, but before they could draw them to a fusillade of shots rang out, and the 2 men fell to the floor. The 2 men, with Harris and Foster, then stepped forward and fired point blank into the head and body of both Fisher and Thompson. Thompson was said to have had 10 bullets in his body, and Fisher 13. An investigation was carried out by the local police, but such was the reputation of both men that very little interest was expressed in attempting to find out who actually pulled the trigger on them.